welcome back. A little today, a lot tomorrow. That is the message behind Alta's 2026 student registration campaign, encouraging adults who may struggle with reading and writing to take that first small step towards improving their literacy. For many Alta students, that first step may simply be making a phone call, attending their first class, or deciding to practice a little each day. But those small actions can lead to a greater confidence and independence and even opportunities in the future. With registration ongoing since June and classes for the 2026-2027 academic year beginning, we're joined by Alta Tutor Ambassador Pamela Ramcharan and one of Alta's students, Sita Mohammed, to tell us more about this year's campaign, the impact literacy can have on everyday life, and how people can take that little step today. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
So lovely to have you all with me.
Good morning.
And right away, we want to start. Pamela, can you tell us what does Alta do, and just give us a bit more insight for persons who may be hearing about it for the first time, or maybe have heard about it but never fully dived into what Alta provides?
All right. So first of all, Alta, it's an acronym really. It's the Adult Tutors Association, right? Adult Literacy Tutors Association. And of course, we are an NGO. We've been around for quite some time. Next year, it's actually going to be our 35th anniversary. So we started in 1992. And what we do really is offer free literacy classes for persons 16 years and older. And of course, these classes are offered in three ways. We have community classes, which are in person. We also have Alta Virtual, where it's done via Zoom with a tutor. And we also offer Alta Online, which is online setting without a tutor, and students can learn at their own pace. So basically, again, teaching, reading, writing, and of course, spelling skills.
Wow. And can you tell us a bit about the students' campaign for this year? A little today, a lot tomorrow. Why
Sure.
that theme? Yeah.
Yeah, all right. So, and you know, that theme, a little today, a lot tomorrow, it may sound simple, but it really isn't. It's very significant for us because this is where students, they take a first little step, a little step to start. And that step is making a phone call, reaching out to our office, even chatting with an Alta ambassador, because we are at outreach areas throughout Trinidad and Tobago and asking for help. So that little move of just reaching out, and that is a little today. And of course, when they start coming to classes, and progressing as the school year continues, at the end of that academic year, we see how that little becomes a lot. So thereby that theme, a little today, a lot tomorrow.
Wow, definitely goes a long way. And Sita, to join you in the conversation, can you tell us a bit about your Alta experience?
Well, the beginning of Alta, I went in the library, and in the library I asked them about the Alta classes because I wanted to do some English, and they gave me the number, and I called the same day, and one of the teachers and tutors and them answer, and they give me a timetable of virtual and information about joining the class.
Yeah. And
I started immediately the next week. I started. And from then on, I continue. I learned to simple thing like a dictionary. I think it's a dictionary, but you could divide a dictionary in 4 parts: A to D, E to L, M to R, S to Z, and a dictionary there. Simple things. And syllable division, I learned to do that. And pronouncing each syllable by syllable, and vowel. To spell a word, you think it's just spelling a word. Vowel, you break them up into little parts, and you read them out, and you spell it, and you learn.
Yeah. what would you say would be one of the most memorable moments you've had during an Alta class experience so far?
Well, to tell you the truth, every moment in class always memorable because the teacher always happy and joking and laughing. The teachers and them, the same thing at the alphabet is not an alphabet, and it's A-E-I-O-U vowel.
Wow.
And then the rest is consonant.
Yeah.
So simple thing that you didn't know, you know when you go in Alta class.
Absolutely. And now...
Yeah, we did dictation. The teacher taught us how to write. You know, she will talk and we will write it down, and then she will check it and make sure we had it correctly and stuff like that.
That's great to hear also. And to even
Yeah.
add in, when you look at how things were last year to now, would you have ever done an interview like this a year ago?
No, I wouldn't have because I didn't join Alta. But now since I joined Alta, I'm learning to write stories. You know, now in CSC exam, you have to write about 500 words. Well, now since I joined the Alta class, I could write stories real good and nice with full stop, commas, capital letters, and exclamation mark, and all these things you could never think about doing on your own. You're doing it accurately in the Alta class.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned that they make the class interactive and it's fun, so every moment is memorable.
Yeah.
And what would you tell someone listening on and they want to improve their reading or spelling and they're not sure about joining Alta? What would you say to that person to encourage them?
Or getting us in Alta as quickly as possible because it really, when you keep back yourself, it's only yourself you're keeping back on your knowledge.
Yeah, absolutely. And Pamela, can you give us some more information on the classes and how break down a class experience or a classroom setting for persons looking on?
Okay. So first of all, we have classes throughout the country.
Yeah.
And I am actually a community tutor. So that means I'm in person. Classes are sometimes once we get churches, schools as well, community centers, whichever facility, that offers their facilities so that we can have classes there. Usually, so my classes are Mondays and Wednesdays from 10 to 12. So students are required just to attend classes 2 days per week. And so our classes cover everything. And Sita would have mentioned some of the topics there that we do dictation. She spoke about the alphabet. We do things like phonics. We do sight words and so on. Now, students, when they come, of course, 2 hours a day, they give up their time to learn and to improve. So we would usually start every time. And what I love about Alta as well, and being a tutor there, it is constantly reviewing the things that would have done the class before and even in previous classes. So that is usually how we would start our classes. We move from section to section. So for example, we would have we will do the sounds, the phonics, which is very important, so that students can hear the sound that letters or combinations make. We also do dictation as well. So similar to I remember doing that in primary school, but in that way, it also gives us an idea as well, of when we check the work that is done and what is written, in terms of the students, their progress, their review, and so on.
Yeah.
And we also do passages when we have classes as well. So we would go through passages with the students, and there is a workbook as well that students would use for every term. Yeah. So that's basically, and another fun fact there too, even though it's about learning, reading, and writing, we also incorporate some games there as well, to put into practice all that is being learned and taught during class. So that's basically how a class session would run.
Yeah.
And so that's pretty much it.
And now, Pamela, along those lines, sometimes people may feel embarrassed or even afraid that they will be judged because they struggle with reading or writing. What would you say to those people looking on?
I would say to them, and we always tell our students, that they taking that first step to
Yeah.
come and improve themselves. Even we, as well as tutors, being tutors with Alta, there are a lot of things that we would have been taught. We actually, I'll be honest, we had to throw that out of the window because some of the things that we had to learn now were totally new to us. So I always tell my students that it's not just the students that are learning, it's the tutors as well. When we decide to join Alta and become tutors with them, it is us going through that learning process, so it's us learning from them and them learning from us. So, I would encourage persons to not be embarrassed about this because there are circumstances, of course, that would, cause persons to not continue at school and different things. But just taking that step a little today, and I know and I can tell them that it will pay off in the end. And, there is no judging in Alta. Yeah, there is no judging at all in Alta. You become a part of our Alta family and improve yourself by reading, writing, and learning to spell.
Wow. And Caesar, to add in, what has that support from your tutors and even fellow students mean to you?
Oh, it means a lot because when I started, I didn't know most of the things the teacher was teaching us. And simple thing like, just simple little things, you think that you know it, but when you go in class, teacher will teach you it. What I gain most is knowledge and respect in class, respecting each other, and knowledge and learning and helping one another. When we don't know, when a student don't know a word, the teacher will take the time, stop the class, and let the student pronounce the word.
Yeah.
All the time, not one time.
And how would you say being a part of an Alta class changed or even affected your confidence in doing things?
Yes, it gives me self-confidence in my writing. Every night before I go to bed, I write something down, like how my day was and stuff like that. And when I read it, I say, oh my God, I didn't thought I could write so much or know the spelling of words so much. So I just spell better, improving anything. And there's nothing embarrassing about it. It's when you learn from Alta, you benefiting, not the feelings or the thought, is you benefiting, you growing, you improving. You will get a better job, not somebody else, you getting everything. Simple thing like you want to be a nurse, go in Alta, learn your work correctly. You have to put in the work, put in the work, go to Alta, learn your work, and do your CXC exam, and there's a boss after.
I love how you said it there, Sita. You're
A boss,
absolutely right.
boss after, because the teacher's real nice. Everybody nice in class. They help one another.
Yeah. Wow. And Pamela, how would you say, I mean, you definitely touched on it before in terms of having to change some ways, but persons looking on and they still maybe want to ask, how is that classroom setting, whether in person or even online, is different to a traditional classroom setting or something they would have experienced or went through before?
Okay, so with Alta, now, of course, there is, we deal with persons 16 years and over.
Right.
So it's not primary school level or secondary.
Yeah.
So it's persons that would have been beyond that. Now, our method of teaching is engaging students to work out the answers. So with the lessons and stuff that we do, it's about having a discussion. So bringing into remembrance the things that would have been taught, and talking to students, talking them through it. So it's not a matter of giving them the answers, but it's the students figuring out the answers with what we teach. And, that is something that it brings smiles to the faces of the students. And I mean, Sita would also tell you, and I can hear that enthusiasm in her voice
Yeah.
as she speaks about it, that it's not just the answers are given or, we go through the lessons, and it's very interactive. And again, we have discussions with the students. You know, it's not just we focus on one particular student or anything like that. It's a entire classroom. And just to mention here, there's a little ratio. It's like 8 students to 1 tutor, you know. So there are about sometimes 3 tutors in the class.
Yeah.
So the setting, as I said, is a little bit different in terms of speaking with students, going through the lessons, and having them figure out and tell us what the answer is.
Yeah. And even to continue asking along the lines about the classes, many people may have like work or even family and other responsibilities. So how does Alta accommodate adults who may find it a bit difficult to attend classes regularly?
Well, that is an excellent question. And one of the things is that's why we have, in addition to our community classes, we have the Alta virtual classes via Zoom. Now, even though that is a set time, in addition to that virtual, we also have Alta online. Now, Alta online is a little bit different in that persons learn at their own pace. So that one is not, they are not accompanied by a tutor, but the instructions, everything is online. So in that way, whether they work night shifts, whether they work whatever hours they work, that Alta Online is an option for them to learn at their own pace rather than having to come to those, the community or the virtual classes.
Yeah, absolutely. That's just beautifully said. And what would you say to someone who may be thinking for years, you know, I want to improve my reading and writing, but has never actually made the call?
I will say to you, make that call. Make that call to Alta. You will not regret it. And, you know, I speak from a place of seeing students come, and I also want to stick a pin in here just to say, we have students from all walks of life. We have students who are successful business people, work in different sectors of the country, and so on. So make that call. And like the campaign for this year, a little today definitely will lead to a lot tomorrow. So make that call. And there are 2 numbers. I can mention those numbers that can be used to register as a student. It's the office 624-2582, or you can also call WhatsApp or send a message 708-1990. All right, so those 2 numbers again, 624-2582 or 708-1990.
Yeah. And registration is currently still ongoing, yes?
That's right, yes.
And who is it open for again, for persons who may have missed it in the first part?
All right, so it's open for persons 16 years and over. Just contact us, and you know, you can start as early, of course, as September. It's a very easy process, and we make arrangements with you, whether it is virtual on Zoom, whether it is in person, or if you would prefer online. Just get in touch with us, and we will guide you along becoming an Alta student.
Lovely to hear. Sita, any final words you'd like to leave with the viewers looking on this morning?
Oh, call the number. Alta really will educate you.
Thank you for that. And Pamela, yourself?
Okay. Thanks.
I just want to encourage, so while our registration for students is currently on, that campaign is on, our classes will start on the 7th of September. That's Monday, 7th September. I also want to encourage persons, even if you may not be a student and you're interested as well in tutoring, that is an option as well. So you can feel free to reach out, let us know if this is something that you have considered, or maybe you're hearing us today and it's something that you're thinking about how you can give back, you can also sign up as well to become a tutor with Alta. So that is an option. Yeah, not just for students, but also to become a tutor with Alta.
Thank you so much, guys, for joining us this morning and sharing with the public. Caesar, even coming on and just letting us in on your experience and what your journey has been like and what it will continue to look like. Thank you for coming on and sharing that with us this morning.
Thank you.
Pamela, you as well, guys. We are about to take a short break, but when we come back, we have more engaging conversations, so stay with us.